Man United won, West Brom 0, first home win of the season, Beth. But a poor performance, really. A let off. VAR favoured us today as well, and just the rules of the new age football in general favoured us today. We were very lucky. Should have taken our chances, don't get me wrong. We did have chances. But there's this feeling that I'm sensing on social media from a lot of Man United fans of just, yes, we won, great, park that where it is, but there's not too much else to shout about it.
I'll tell you what, if we didn't get that penalty and it would have been a 0-0, it'd be a completely different story. I mean, I thought it was awful. I thought we played absolutely awful. But do you know what? The positives, I'll start with positives. The positives are we've got the 3 points. I think we're above City now in the league. City lost. Tellez looked really promising down the left-hand side. And VAR favoured us again. I know De Gea looks like he's back to his old self with his saves and like coming out and stuff. He looked pretty good. But apart from that, genuinely awful. It's just, do you know what worries me even more? It's the fact that we've got no structure in our team. Like from the defence to the attack. We've seen it before, and sometimes it works depending on if he's playing McFred in the middle bit, but we've just got no defence to attack. We've got no one who can run through the midfield and create space. The lineup, again, I didn't agree with at all. The fact Matt is I didn't want Matic or Mata to start in that game. I think Matic looked like that he was running through sand. He was getting pushed off the ball constantly. He was like running with the ball when he didn't need to run with it. He could have just passed it off. And then he'd run to like the sideline and get caged in by other players and have no space to pass it through. He gave the ball away a lot. I know a lot of the players did, but that's because there was not many runs because everyone was out of position. Mata, I don't think he should be starting on the right. I've said that before. I just thought it was bad. He was really bad. Like our team, it's so lopsided. Everything's coming down that left-hand side. And our right-hand side, Wan-Bissaka can't really go forward. And then we've not got a right winger. I mean, Mata is out of position, fair enough. But it's just, we've got nothing down that right-hand side. So everyone gathers to the left and everyone's out of position and there's just no link-ups. And we wouldn't fix our chances. It was just bad.
I mean, going into this game, I was, even Mark said it, and I kind of said it to him. I was like, nah. He's like, West Brom are shit, and we should X, Y, Z, and we should do this, we do that. They haven't got a win all season. And I was like, that feeling, like, I don't really have that anymore of like, this team's not very good and we should go and do this because of performances like that. We're not, teams don't fear us. And I feel like West Brom, even though I even thought they would come in and sit back and just try and counter us, they weren't even doing that. They were confident. They came with intent. And yes, we've won the game, but do you see it as masking what's going on? Or do you see it as actually, no, that will just be a confidence builder, even winning in that manner?
Well, it's a confidence builder because now we finally won at home. But the bad part about it is I'm pretty sure we've not had a game free open play in like 5 games at home or something like that. We find it really hard to link up the attack at home when we're not playing on the counter-attack, which is very worrying. And the fact that's not been approached in the coaching staff, again, is very worrying because it's been an obvious problem for weeks. When we're not playing on the counter-attack, we find it very hard to defeat the low block. We got very lucky with that penalty. I actually do think West Brom should have been overturned purely because when I was watching the Villa match, I was absolutely certain that Villa was a penalty. And then they overturned it, and I was like, it's basically the same thing. So I'm glad at least it was consistent in that sense.
It's just consistently wrong in football, isn't it? Though
consistently wrong. Yeah, I do think it was a bit of IQ. I do think it was a penalty, but at least it was consistent. And then at the other end, the fact we got to retake it. I mean, yeah, we should have retaken it, but again, it's lucky. I mean, you could say Martial has to finish his chances. He does. Rashford has to finish his chances. He does. But it's the same things we keep saying every week, which is very worrying because it's the same thing. Like Rashford does a little bit too much with it, and then he can't stick it when it's an easy chance. But then he can score the wonder goals. And then Martial, at least he's got a shot on target now, but he's not been as ice cold in front of the goal in a while. Bruno's getting dragged way out of position because we've got no shape. We're playing a back 6 against West Brom at home. Matic and Fred, not the best going forward. I thought Fred played quite well. I thought he did get forward a bit. He played some good passes. But playing the 2 CDMs and the back 4, and then the full-backs, well, I know Wan-Bissaka wasn't getting up that much, and covering the space. There's absolutely no link-up play. So Bruno's coming back to receive the ball, and then he looks around, and there's absolutely no one to pass to apart from the front three that are all stood in the line at the back. I mean, at least when Cavani came on, he made some good runs, but I'm worried about us creating goals from set play. And Van der Beek, when he came on again, he looked good. He was sharp. His passing it's so much quicker than Mata. I'm not just like hating on Mata, but that was the position he came on for, and we already look better. And it's just, I don't get why he's not getting into that team, apart from the fact Ollie obviously doesn't fancy him. But can you say you're saving him for Istanbul when he's not been playing anyway? It's very strange. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it is hard to explain. I said that earlier. I just don't think Solskjaer's got the trust in Mata, and at the moment it doesn't look like that's going to change. I
think it has to after this game.
Can you see him making changes there? I mean, would you? Some people saying put Martial out on the left, Rashford out on the right, and put Cavani up front, give him a run against. I
wouldn't mind that. I don't mind changing it because it's not working what we're doing at the moment. It's just not, especially against a low block. Our chances from open play are very, very, very small at the moment. So I wouldn't mind changing it up. And because we're not making enough chances, people are getting very, what's the word? Like critical of our forwards for not sticking every single chance they get. I mean, if you watch different games of football, a lot of strikers get a lot more chances than that. For example, Werner gets a lot more chances before he gets to stick it in the back of the net because they're creating more. Whereas we don't really have that. So I'm open to changing it. We need some sort of pace on the right-hand side. There's not really much going on the right-hand side anyway. So I'm open to changing that. And I do like the runs Cavani was making. But do you know what? Rashford was a bit injured, apparently. And surely he's not recovered from that quickly. But Ollie persists playing him through injury when we don't actually need to, because we could have played Martial on the left and Cavani up front, unless Cavani's not fit enough, but then he's playing for Uruguay. Some of his decisions I don't really understand. I thought when he took Fred off instead of Mike, at first I was like, how? Like, how can you be doing that? But then I realised he's the defensive against West Brom, 1-0 down at home. And there's that argument that Fred could be getting saved for the Champions League game. But it's just, some of his decisions is just a bit negative. And then he's the one complaining about this 5 sub rule, but then he's plays through injury and he's not making subs. He's making subs way later. I thought Van der Beek should have been subbed on at half time and Cavani, but it just didn't happen. So,
was there a man of the match for you today to finish off?
Well, I'd have to say it'd be Bruno because he scored the goal. I thought De Gea gets a mention for his save because I thought that kept us in the game. It was a great save. Their keeper, by the way. What is it with keepers coming to Old Trafford and playing out of the skin?
Yeah,
I was so confused, but yeah, I'd probably give it to Bruno because his mentality, he just makes everything play. Like Scholes said, we wouldn't have anything going through the midfield without him. But one last thing I did want to say is, I don't know if Ollie keeps playing Mata and then Lindelof at centre half, because he's trying to say that they're the positions that he needs improving, and he doesn't see Van der Beek as a replacement on the right. Fair enough, he shouldn't do. He's not a right winger.
Or we can go and say, look, I don't have a right winger.
Yeah, and I don't know if he trusts Axel enough yet to play as the centre half partnership, and he needs a centre half partnership to go with Maguire. And I also think Maguire did all right today. He gets a lot of stick, so he had some good chances in the box, and he played better. That's all, but the defence pace did get exposed again when he played vertical. But yeah, my man of the match would be Bruno.
Listen, we go again Tuesday night, Champions League, and hopefully we can make that 3 wins on the bounce.
Hopefully. I mean, we've got to win, haven't we, if we're going to get through the group.
Yeah, nice one, Beth. I'll see you then.
See you then.
Take care.